When 57-year-old Jennifer Banyure, a child trafficker accused by ex-husbands for allegedly poisoning them, turned up to meet a hacker to corrupt Gatwick Airport's database on the 26th of August 2024, she thought no one would discover her scheme to deceive the UK's courts. The friend of the journalist, Hopewell Chin'ono, who, like him, changed her own name in 2001, and this year, on the 26th of August, had engaged a computer hacker to help delete her second immigration record from Gatwick Airport databases, has lost a £1 million court case after it was proven she is a fugitive from justice who has traversed the UK's airports multiple times under different identities. Jennifer Banyure, on the afternoon of the 26th of August 2024, drove to St James Hotel in Nottingham, where she arranged for the hacking of Gatwick Airport's immigration databases to be completed on the day, right there on the building's second-floor area. The visit and the operation were captured on video. How Jennifer has, for over a quarter of a century, repeatedly defeated the UK's immigration system, trafficked a minor and even fraudulently acquired UK citizenship, is explained by other events, such as the raping of 3 teenagers seen entering a Birmingham hotel on the 9th of September 2024. Her operations are revealed in the Syndicate series, exposing her gang that, with the help of some UK embassy officials, has spent the last 28 years from 1996 to 2024, trafficking children across the UK's airports, laundering dirty money, and has grown in power to the point of compromising several governments. 2 men are studied, a music promoter nicknamed Casey, who is Kudzysha Chipadza, and a prominent journalist called Hopewell Chin'ono, who announces himself to the online community as a daddy character. The following month, while acting on Chin'ono's assurances that suggest it will never be discovered that she is a fugitive from justice executing another injustice, Jennifer Banyure later turned up at a Derby County Court hearing on the 5th of September 2024, hoping to claim a share from a £1 million estate owned by her short marriage ex-husband. She had cohabited with him for 14 months in the period up to April 2023. In her application, she had managed to stitch up a 4-year paperwork base from the time of dating, so it reads like they had cohabited for a longer period. During the September 5th hearing, she was within minutes slapped with an identity fraud case connected to her 2001 Gatwick Airport entry as another person, Linda Mnangagwa. Responding to this, and in a sudden U-turn, she swiftly dropped her application to obtain her ex-husband's property and opted for an out-of-court settlement with which she pleaded with him that the identity fraud case be dropped, at least within the divorce proceedings. The final divorce settlement that's devoid of any sharing of her husband's property has since been concluded and ruled on by District Judge Pittman, who declared on the 20th of October 2024, stating as follows: "It is ordered by consent, clean break, capital and income applicant. Except as provided for in this order, the applicant's claims for secured periodical payments orders, lump sum orders, property adjustment orders, pension sharing orders and pension attachment orders shall be dismissed, and she shall not be entitled to." Meanwhile, Jennifer Banyure has, in the last 26 years, crisscrossed UK's airports under different names. Around July 2001, she entered Britain via Gatwick Airport under a totally different name, Linda Mnangagwa, with a different date of birth. She also trafficked a 6-year-old child into the UK on that day. In 2016, her citizenship application was declined under her other name, Jennifer Banyure. That is when she hatched a plan to marry a British citizen. She later obtained British citizenship under her ex-husband's surname in circumstances that reflect further weaknesses in the Home Office's database management system. Although having succeeded in becoming a UK citizen, Her struggle has been over her Gatwick Airport entry record from back in 2001, when she, as a fugitive from justice, changed her name like many others of her compatriots and flew back into the UK with a 6-year-old child she trafficked. Her text messages with the hacker, an undercover investigative journalist, reflect that she was acting on the strength of assurances by the activist Hopewell Chin'ono, who says a mere letter from British embassy staff members is a valid criminal records check that insulates its holder from fraud investigations. In the text messages, Hopewell Chin'ono is also referred to as her friend. Contrary to the journalist, Hopewell Chin'ono's claims, recent exposés of the ZANU PF DJ Casey Kudzaisha Chipadza reveal that UK embassy letters are, as late as 2024, actually being utilised to execute disturbing wrongdoings, such as human trafficking of sex victims into the UK. Casey has admitted obtaining sexual pleasures from a teenager he smuggled from South Africa on the 29th of October 2023 with the help of 2 British embassy officials based in Sandton, South Africa. The development suggests that while technology has been upgraded and deployed, 24 years later, fraudsters have only gotten smarter than they were back in 2001, when Chin'ono and Banyure changed names. In 2001, the technology wasn't there. In 2024, the situation has gotten worse, for it's the honest human infrastructure that is now lacking, for which reason frauds through signatures of embassy staff members can now be permanently obfuscated. So to facilitate, for instance, the most frightening sex trafficking of females into the UK. Even crimes committed on UK soil can be covered up using a UK embassy staff member's endorsement. Four years ago, an NHS practitioner, Grace Mupfurutsa, blew the whistle on Hopewell Chin'ono over alleged credit card frauds similar to those Chipadza has been implicated in. Banyure is one of many foreigners who took advantage of the UK's weak database systems during the period 2001 and 2008, before Britain's fingerprinting and DNA systems had been upgraded, and when it was impossible for British law enforcement to execute competent criminal records checks on foreigners. When she went to court on the 5th of September 2024, Jennifer Banyure was relying on the assurances by the journalist Hopewell Chin'ono, who in a Spaces broadcast had claimed a British embassy staff member declares stating, Hopewell Chin'ono, who changed his name from Mukusha, is not a fugitive from justice. The embassy staff member's letter, which Chin'ono utilised, has no such wording, albeit saying the embassy is not aware of outstanding issues between Mr. Chin'ono and British authorities. The letter does not say anything further than that. After admitting that, yes, he did change his name in 2001, like Jennifer Banyure, Chin'ono stresses in defence, saying the UK Embassy announced a letter stating that Hopewell Chin'ono is not a fugitive from justice. The letter he produces has no such wording, and even if it did, it would still not be a valid CRB or a DBS document. Moreover, even if it was any of these, the embassy would have had no capacity of accessing fingerprint databases for immigrants who entered the UK before 2008, as the technology was not there. His friend, Jennifer Banyure, states it in bold notes that no fingerprints were taken at all at airports in 2001, meaning it's impossible for any embassy to issue the letter her friend Chin'ono claims to have received. It is Mr. Hopewell Chin'ono's attitude on the welfare of abused underage children that tells a deeper story, following serious accusations that he interfered with an ongoing Scottish court case prosecuting over the abuse of underage children back in 2014. Chin'ono's failure against his own promise to expose the other daddy character who was on trial at Falkirk, and his general lack of empathy for the complainants in the case, rings similar to that of Casey. Asked to comment over an allegation that he used his journalism badge to try and groom the main complainant John Gasho in the trial of a Scottish daddy character suspect, Mr. Hopewell Chin'ono has gone mum. And over complaints that he is a daddy character who himself uses the internet to groom women, he accuses NHS practitioner Grace Mukusha of being sent by the government of Zimbabwe to a media outfit called Gatwick Media to record her video on the 18th of August 2020. Timestamps, however, proved that Mukusha never went to the media outfit. Her Facebook live videos shot the previous day were cropped out and segmented the following day by the media outfit for the news.
I know Daddy Hope personally. That's the thing. I knew Daddy Hope when he was called
Chikanza has commented, saying the South African teenager he trafficked into the UK with the help of 2 British Embassy staff members on the 29th of October 2023 is not a child, so he should not be suspected of sexually assaulting her.
You're 40-something. You're now also 40 now. 39, 40.
One of the British Embassy officials, only identified under the title Chichi, who processed the 19-year-old teen's visa in 2023, is contacted on Thursday, the 24th of October, in a sting phone call. Briefly speaks on for 33 seconds before shutting the phone down. The investigation continues. By November 2024, Hopewell Chin'ono has managed to convince his social media followers that Grace Mukusha was a political agent truly sent by the government of Zimbabwe to a media outfit called Gatwick on the 18th of August 2020, even though timestamp evidence is very clear that none of that happened. A close colleague of Chin'ono's, who pleads not to be exposed, tells a deeper claim that links Chin'ono with Casey's top comrade Marion Kirk. And later it is Chin'ono himself who speaks in support of a deported illegal entrant colleague at Heathrow on the 29th of April 2024. Just as he, Chin'ono, accuses the investigator of this documentary, saying he is full of hatred, following the deportation of Casey colleague Finalising at Heathrow Airport. Meanwhile, Hopewell Chin'ono's colleague speaks in a recording near the University of Zambia, Lusaka, on 9 September.
Bank. But it's a fraud, right? And Drum is right. What's the last stone? Did you know I'm going to repair? One of the yes, Taita. Yeah, I'm Marina.
Simba fana ku document
But we must read this boys. Dabatase, as I see, and I hope no good. Chocolate, but it's good. I got to go and Agaba abatenga imbai kwa Rova yasho yangari manga ma latest. Opa mwezo mtubisa. Wala uzanya fraud kunzana mari nikeke wana kuti vanga mupa makanzi vaikanda machekirisi.
Ani?
Iwa na mari nikeka. Ito fraud.
Nana hopo.
Tese not nena uruchiti. And kuti are the collective.
I know Daddy Hope personally. That's the thing. I knew Daddy Hope when he was called Hopewell Mukusha. Paangari kuMaubra High School. Taitofamba tichiperekedzana kumasports, achiperekedzana nehanzvadzi dzangu chichi. Pakauya kuBritain, taitozivana kuBritain. Zvese zvemacredit card fraud zvandiri kutaura ndakazviona nemaziso angu inini. Vanhu vaitora macredit card, vofona voti zotumirai kunhingini room 101.
And we are the collective.
Hold on to your hats, because things are about to get hotter. In the shadowy underbelly of Hopewell's notorious gang, a chilling message has surfaced. The enigmatic leader, Hopewell himself, has issued a grave warning to his followers. Beware of Simba Chikanza, he declares, his voice laced with urgency and dread. He's on a mission, and he's playing for keeps. Just after one of the syndicates, Finalising was caught in the act at Heathrow Airport, Hopewell blames Chikanza for it and blasts a warning. Between April 29th, 2024 and August of the same year, something rather peculiar is brewing on social media. It is led by none other than Hopewell Chin'ono, an award journalism figure who, since April, is advising close to 1 million of his followers to engage in airport data sabotage operations. His instructions? To conceal any arrestable offences and avoid people who might get them deported. He specifically warned his followers to stay away from people vanadepotisana. He calls them jealous individuals who might turn them into the UK border force for deportation. If a genuine concern existed that the accused UK border force moles truly engage in false reporting, Chin'ono would have used his journalism tools, or at the social media following he powerfully commands, to lobby against the moles over false reporting. But no, his lobbying is of a different kind. He is rather preoccupied with commanding his followers to sabotage airport security data through information blackouts and organize secretive movements. The followers take everything as biblical truth uttered by their daddy. But why would so many educated people follow these instructions without questioning the daddy character?
On Hopewell, apawo anjona kutivanu vatata. Immigration do wango itabazara yochete. Ende amonu ye, atori wase kapfura nyika yese. Rights one, either off. He's on both for what was a fraud issue that immigration detected at Heathrow. Hopewell, nothing to do with Simba, says Mandla. Both he had said it to clear us, it's not that my keys. Darius got herself in trouble by, for instance, carrying all those medical goods to Heathrow that are illegal in UK and that are so visible. Even at RGM or Tambo, she would have been arrested. So why do you blame Simba Chikanza for this clear case of a serial convict? Are you confirming you're working with my TT Hopewell Chin'ono? Please explain what we're missing here. Hopewell, cause you're rallying citizens, so they fight to protect Casey's girlfriend Philistas Murata and other offenders from UK. Man Lampof adds Hopewell Chin'ono does not respond. Your hate campaign against airport security whistleblowers. Is it not further evidence you never exposed Henrietta's airport matter? Is this not clear you got arrested for self-promotion after only reposting an arrest document everyone else had? Hopewell Chin'ono does not respond. Your hate campaign against airport security whistleblowers. Is it not further evidence you never exposed Henrietta's airport matter? Is this not clear you got arrested for self-promotion after only reposting an arrest document everyone else had? Hopewell Chin'ono does not respond.
And what is Chin'ono really feeding the hundreds of thousands of followers like Casey and Banyure on social media that gives them confidence to execute immigration sabotage operations as late as 2024, so to beat sophisticated biometric technology set up at UK's airports? Is he feeding them journalism? A 2021 investigation by his former employer, Jeff Nyarota, provides some intriguing clues. The investigation gives hint that Chin'ono is practicing something else beyond journalism, something in the region of materialism. The news analysis report, titled "Journalism Rarely Generates Excessive Wealth," published on the leading independent paper, Newsday website, leads us to a large farm of data. This data is critical to test the accuracy of the employer's findings. Even though the former employer is the best investigative journalist of all time with multiple awards, data is needed to assess the findings. An extraction of Hopewell Chin'ono's entire cache of online conversations in the period 2009 to 2024, which takes several days to execute, reveals data columns that seem consistent with findings by Chin'ono's employer. The 5 columns are standing out after the extraction, suggesting that Chin'ono is practicing 5 professions at the same time: monism, the most dominant of them all, dadism, militarism, activism and journalism, the latter, which is less than 1% fraction of the chunk. The data suggests Chin'ono is juggling 5 distinct roles at the same time: monism, dadism, militarism, activism and, of course, journalism. Let's break these down. First, monism or materialism, where the focus is on accumulating wealth, often sidestepping moral boundaries. Chin'ono teaches his family of followers that they must not ask him any critical questions or call him to a debate with a lawyer because they are still to buy a house. He is a superman who should not be questioned, even over the identity of the financier of the UK money, £50,000 he says he used to buy his first home, which claim he contradicts himself, saying no UK funds were used at all. It was all a Zimbabwe bank mortgage. Next, dadism, a term used for male characters who cultivate a dominant, almost cult-like persona to manipulate their followers, often for personal gratification. It's been found to be effective in manipulating sex victims in various rape cases, including one Chin'ono is accused of interfering in Scotland in 2014. Chin'ono even adopted the daddy moniker. Then there's militarism. This involves advocating for extreme measures, including military intervention against political opponents. Chin'ono has advised the Zimbabwean Minister of Defense to use the army to suppress political expressions. Following a meeting called up by Chin'ono to fight off UN findings in the 2018 to 2019 period, his advice to the Ministry of Defense in the attempt to force the publisher Simba Chikanza to accept the military's and Chin'ono's imposition that the Chamisa-led civil society are being corrupted with money and are the ones causing tension with the army. This imposition to try and make Chikanza consent to the military ministry's false claim that Chamisa's civil society are the ones who are shooting protesters has led to President Emerson Mnangagwa building the confidence to pursue torture victims at their doctors and lawyers, operations that have eventually caused opposition leader Nelson Chamisa to resign from his own party. Writing in public, Chin'ono admits advising the Minister of Defense that he should accuse the civil society of causing tension with the army. It is this militarism that by the 26th of August 2024 has enabled Chin'ono to later boast that he is assembling something more powerful than both Nelson Chamisa and Emerson Mnangagwa, such that he can now set up a political institution, a government in exile that, according to his public boasts, is supported by many Hopewells stationed inside the British and French parliaments, and even the United Nations, as he announces it on the same day Banyure plans to go and sabotage Gatwick Airport records. Searching Chin'ono's public messages data, a repeating string of words flashes up. An algorithm is spotted popping out for several years since the 28th of May 2020, when Chin'ono first suggested that he is the daddy character who can fix all his country's problems regarding corruption and political collapse. The string, "The opposition will do nothing," is seen popping out on his Twitter account for 3 years running, in a suspicious fashion that seems too facilitatory for someone's resume. As Chin'ono later gets arrested by the same military government he is assisting to destroy the opposition, and he is slapped with a dismissible police case titled "Incitement to Violence." The timing of his many arrests that turn him into a persecuted anti-corruption hero, while he remains engaged in military-level corruption on behalf of the Ministry of Defense in the same period 2018, up to his public statements on the 5th of July 2023, is curious, such that he is asked to prove that he is not a double agent disguised as a journalist. Meanwhile, in a continuous 3-year running period, the do-nothing text keeps popping out of his tweets right up to the day the 14th of April 2023, when, while appearing as if he is criticizing the Mnangagwa regime over the gold mafia scandal, Google records a sharp collapse in search interest for Africa's most explosive investigation on election rigging gold smuggling. Working as a double agent, Chin'ono has achieved super daddy status, and he has proven he can now easily crash news interest with a single tweet. Google records this achievement of powerful militarism. The last role, journalism, seems to be a subsidiary of the first 3, making it a weak branch of the 3 corrupt roles rather than being a standalone function serving the public good. Journalism appears to be just a small fraction of his activities, less than 1% as reflected in the extracted data. These 5 roles paint a picture of a man with significant influence, if not total control over the minds of followers. He's more than just a journalist, he's a superhuman, wielding the daddy title akin to Puff Daddy in the US or such daddy characters. Take the case of Jennifer Banyure. On August 26, 2024, convinced by the impunity Chin'ono has demonstrated over the years, she is traveling to get her identity deleted from Gatwick Airport's database. She engages a hacker she arranges to meet in a Nottingham hotel, believing she is untouchable under Chin'ono's guidance. What will happen? How Banyure follows Hopewell Chin'ono's advice could reflect it either as clean, objective journalistic commentary that the receiver can question with an open mind, or as something else that is more powerful, possessive and abusive. In the days running up to this meeting, her text messages with the hacker are totally void of any precaution or independent thinking that can critique Chin'ono's proposition.
Eric. So that's similar rezoning of access to the sites it's got like that's why it's just in the house different angle. Right, so this happens documents classified. So what you need to do is also just take it out for bank meeting. Who does why into like probably you know there's J raise J on that one. I don't know we're trying to try to imagine anything. How long was who's that?
Yeah, you know, I'm so ignorant. I don't even know who teaching. You know, I don't no idea.
So you don't have to find everything, okay? I think this one needs to take a moment.
Sorry. Yeah, we are doing fine. We are doing fine. Yeah, we are doing fine. Okay, fine. Yeah, we're doing fine.
That is, the good thing about that is with the most part.
Yeah, no. It's to me. It's just that I actually came here and went round. And I was asking the lady, I said, where is this hotel? I said, oh, there's so many hotels the other side, so I went to that class.
And then the other issue we running to the finance made is that not a big point. I didn't want them back.
I came here 1990, 89. I've never used it anywhere. Never used it.
Okay. Like for an imagine the one. Letting you do it, go for it.
Auntie Teta, I think you have a personal issue na Daddy Hope. No, I don't have a personal issue with Daddy Hope. I know Daddy Hope personally. That's the thing. I knew Daddy Hope when he was called Hopewell Mukusha. Paanga ari kuMaubra High School. Taitofamba tichiperekedzana kumasports, achiperekedzana nehanzvadzi dzangu, chichi. Paakauya kuBritain, taitozivana kuBritain. Zvese zvemacredit card fraud zvandiri kutaura ndakazviona nemaziso angu inini. Vanhu vaitora macredit card, vofona voti zotumirai kunhingirikini room 101. kuSheraton oenda futi onoti tumirai ku201 oti tumirai futi ku901 saka watenga necredit card remunhu rawaba kana kuti rawawana credit card that you have acquired ko wallet yangu iri kupinda kukuratidzai how easy it is to do credit card fraud for those of you makasarira munyaya yacho inini zvangu ndiri wezveziya. Okay, where's my card? Okay, ndabuda panze ndichinotenga zvinhu kuGateway, right? So this is your card. The long number here, this long number here, they take it. All they also need is the expiry date, that's all. And then pane ka number kari paseri panapa ako. So ukaenda to any catalog, you just go, woisa zita recard, woisa the long number, woisa the expiry date, woisa the issue number at the very end, the number at the back. Saka kudhara vanga vasati vane anti-fraud mechanisms, okay? Saka vanhu vaita madiro ajojina. Now they ask certain personal questions, and also if you have emitted too many transactions on your card, or you are jumping around all over the place, they stop your cards. I remember one time I went to Minnesota in what year was that? I went in 2001, okay? I was setting up the new dome. I had so many transactions. I was shopping. And then my bank stopped my cards. And I was like, what's wrong with you? Why are you stopping my card? Because you've had unusual activity on your card. There'd been about 10 transactions in one day. I wanted to just get all my shopping done and then pack and leave it there. So back then, kwanga kusati kwane mechanisms. So vanhu vaitenga mazisofa anodhura ma4,000, machi, even motikari chaidzo. Yodhilivwa kuchi 101, 201, zvimwe zvodhilivwa ku901. Saka votora zvinhu izvo zvoti, oh, uri kuda masofa, alright, ndokutengesera 2,000. Apapa ari kutomeka 2,000 pounds profit. Unofunga kuti ukanyatsosanda chinhu chakadaro over a few days or a few months, auite very rich. Saka some of you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. Some of you don't even know the innermost. And some of you have been accusing me audaciously. Oh, so why are you saying it right now? This is something that for those of you who really follow me, my friends, you will attest. Please let me have 1 or 2 people. Vanongo some thumbs up. Kuti Tete, you've been warning us about Hopewell. Pane an incident about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Pane my friend yangu akamutaga pa page pangu. Pamene zvataitaura. Panotaurwa zvokutaurwa zvi. Ndomva vamutaga ndikati don't bother kumutaga because ndakamublocker years ago. Chikanza chichi ndova ndamu unblocker for the purpose of them to see this thing. Ndipo pazvanga zvatanga izvo zvenhingirikini Zimbabwe Lives Matter ndikati aiwa imimi vanhu chenjererai character yemunhu. Bamudiki vangu vakaimba I love your character. Oh, I don't love his character. In fact, I don't love character yemunhu. Anybody are very dishonest. Pandanga chiti ndakaenda kuAmerica, we were learning about personality disorders. My specialty in psychiatry is forensic mental health. Ndo specialty yangu. Ndiratidze anybody ane personality disorder, I will sniff them out. Achiri kuairport kuti munhu uyu haasi right. Ndoda ndikazoita mini mental state ndikazonyatsokunyorera care plan zvinonyatsobuda seizvozvi. Saka kune masats ndo vanoita zvinhu zvakadhakwa sezvandiri kuedza kutsanangura izvizvi. Nyenga kamusikana abvume uda kudya chakafa, what's wrong with you? Kana kuina vamwe varume who ply women with drugs and alcohol, shame on you. Ndopandiri kuona kuti vakadzi vofuti muri kubanya what happened to the women's movement, women's liberty. Saka muda kuti vamwe vanhu vaiswe against their will. I can just imagine. Ndarova zvangu nechibuku changu kana kuti whiskey yangu somebody akuda kutoita zvimwe zvinhu. That's so disrespectful. You bring shame to people's good names. So handizive kuti at what point did this young man decide kuti akuchinja zita kana kuti kumetropolitan police zvinhu zvanga zvakupisa But yes, it is not alleged. Zvitoripo zvechokwadi zvomene. A lot of you vari kutwitter makamboiona hondo pamene wakambodenana naye 2 years ago. Agoudzurudzwa nze he tinozviziva zvemafraud zvekuri UK nechi. Kana musingazive vanhu from the Garden of Eden wanikwai makanyarara. Because what is at stake here is bigger than your Zimbabwe Lives Matter.
Peace after elections. Those elements in this country who are planning to create violence, I warn them. We will not tolerate any mischief. We will not tolerate all those who are bent in causing violence in our peaceful country. If they are being given money by whatever authority, nation or country or organization, ilamara wakanyarara, ipukute wakanyarara, ukangoti buf, todiranewe, tokuvarira. We want peace in the country. All those who are promoting peace, the law will take its course against those who promote violence among us. We are a humble, peace-loving people of Zimbabwe. This is our signature, peace. God loves those nations which promote peace, and one of such countries is Zimbabwe. Up to now, many countries in the world have been writing there will be violence during these elections. Kushuka kwataita pano varobana vangani? Hapana. Takawanda over 100,000 here. But we respect each other. We are peaceful. Those vatinoda, those vatinofana kuchengetedza nguva dzese. Hapana nyika inovakwa nevanhu vanorwa kana vanhu vanovengana kana vanotukana. Vaitofamba vachitivo mangwana muite mhirizhonga anenge asungwa munoenda pakati pane manoyo akagara akamirira kuti azvipedze. Vanenge vakuvara munoenda pakati pane vakagara madhokota achakurapai kuvadzisa vana vevanhu saizvozvo. Zvose izvo zvotakupevera madhokota iwawo akanga ari munyaya dzacho dzemhirizhonga dzikwatevera. Magweta iwawo akanga achiti mhirizhonga ngaine mberi tikokudzipendai tikwatevera. Saka uyo anenge asarudza umhirizhonga, anenge asarudza umhesamukono, aiwa takakwana tosangana naye. Anenge asarudza runyararo norugare, haleluya kwaari, rugare namazuva ake ngaawedzerwe munyika inotongwa navatema. Asi avasarudza mhirizhonga mazuva avanowinyana. Bamberi nezambie, bamberi nezambie, bamberi nokubatana, bamberi nokubatana.
The rest, the nearest church, and the report the abuse you underwent. We have only one single case that has come up in Chitungiza. The rest, we now know that the women who were paraded was just make up by some organizations. And some of the women have now left the country, have been shipped to the United Kingdom. The few who are still in the country, they are being moved from house to house, and we are trying to track them down. It's all stage managed.
And the killings?
We are challenging anybody, local or foreign, to produce the women so that the world can see them and say this is what happened. We would want to see those. And with regard to that...
Chikanza? Yes, sir. Where do you get your information? VP, Vice President, sir. Pane ma live videos, pane BBC Al Jazeera yanga iripo Harare nezuro. Ma journalists akarowa.
Now listen.
Yes, sir.
No, if ukada kutora diction kashamwari atizi wanani only kana wakateerera sequence of events. Only the defense force yakaenda after 3 people had been killed by this hooligans. Hakuna msoja akaura ukupanzisa zvakanaka.
vachiwenga pane masoja akafyuma vachiridza pfuti.
Some of the women have now left the country, have been shipped to the United Kingdom. The few who are still in the country, they are being moved from house to house, and we are trying to track them down. It's all stage managed. We are challenging anybody.
I think the problem with the corruption reports that have been coming out is that the opposition itself has failed to articulate the issues to the citizens. When I say the citizens, I'm not talking about those on Twitter space. I'm talking about the ordinary citizens. So if you go to the townships, if I was in the opposition, if you go to the townships, you need to break down these issues and explain what they mean, specifically to individuals who don't read these reports, but who want to understand why they do not have medication in hospitals, who want to understand why their kids don't have jobs, who want to understand how they've been robbed of their pensions 2 or 3 times. Because this particular type of looting public funds is directly linked to the misery that the Zimbabwean citizen is facing today. So I've always encouraged the opposition that, you need to explain to people how much it costs to run a particular hospital that they use that has no medication, and explain to them how much it costs to put medication in that hospital, and then come at the tail end and explain to them how much has been stolen, how it has been stolen. The opposition has failed to do this. And some have suggested that even civil society sometimes has failed to do this. You see, we live in such a corrupt society, such that people start speculating why certain people are not saying certain things at a particular time. Yet those things give clarity to the cause that they are fighting for. Other people start speculating that perhaps there are people who take kickbacks, because corruption is not exclusively a ZANU-PF affair in Zimbabwe. I've always explained that corruption is now a Zimbabwean issue. So you find that somebody who works in a factory can organize to steal things from that factory, and that will be seen as okay at that level. So and you look at people talking about ZANU-PF and why they want to join ZANU-PF, they will tell you that they are driven by easy access to resources, easy access to cash, easy access to things that are looted from the ordinary citizen. So, for instance, things like mining claims, they will tell you that if I join ZANU-PF, I'll get mining claims. So ZANU-PF is commercialized corruption in such a way that if you join us, we eat together.
But that's the sacrifice that the opposition has gone through here. Judging by what we see across the world, Chamisa seems to have led a political party in one of the most difficult dictatorships of the world that's only comparable to Russia and Belarus. I want to say that the opposition, I don't know if people ever seen here, that in Zimbabwe, there have been 2 coups. There was one in 2017, the removal of Robert Mugabe. And then there was one on the 1st of August 2018, when publicly Emmerson Mnangagwa's office announced that they were going to use soldiers to literally change election results. There was another corruption that happened a few months after that. That was in January 2019, when Emmerson Mnangagwa, whose company, Sakunda, Tagwire's company, it was supplying fuel to the country, changed the prices, leading to a demonstration in which he himself, as an interested party at a business level, changed the figures, and then he unleashed terrorists, soldiers, whether they were real soldiers or fake. I believe they were both, onto the people, 17 people were killed, 50 women were raped. That period was another horror that the opposition and the civil society had to go through, of extreme corruption, which I think should be the basis of focus, or maybe the foundation before we criticize Nelson Chamisa's leadership or the civil society at large for failing to expose corruption here. They actually did. And I also think that it's unfair to, we had doctors here in 2019, and there's a tweet. I just wanted to alert here the convener, where the last speaker, the second from last speaker here, Hopewell Chin'ono, even confirmed that he suggested to Constantino Chiwenga, the man that I was exposing for offloading terrorists onto the people, suggested that he should go and meet the very doctors who were treating the tortured activists, in what civil society, to the other end, actually accuses to this day Hopewell Chin'ono for data protection breach here, and also literally
I think,
betraying
Simba,
the civil society. But I want to
your
come back
desire
here.
to follow everywhere
I
I
want
go
to come back.
and use your personal attacks on me on something that's so
Why
important
do you
is
say I've gone
deplorable.
anywhere?
You've been
Your
doing
tweet
this
is
for a
public,
year, and
Hopewell.
it's very
Your tweet is
embarrassing.
public.
You
Hopewell,
come
there are
and
women.
lie about things that you can't
Hopewell,
provide.
there are women.
Sorry, I'm going to have to mute.
I apologize, convener. I really apologize. I just wanted to say that, convener, just as I end, there are women who are still in hiding today, 4 years later, as a result of the shutting.
Okay. Thank you. Hopewell, I know you would like to respond to that. I'll give you space to respond to that, but we've had some other requests to speak as well. Tinashe, I can hear you're unmuted. Would you like to come in?
Yeah. I just wanted to contribute on what Simba was saying. There are a lot of young people who look up to people like Hopewell. So I've noticed that in his recent tweets, he's been maybe attacking the opposition for not being consistent, for not attacking corruption, for not having a tangible plan. But what has been happening is that the opposition has been attacked by the government a lot. It has been attacked by every facet of the government, but not been given any media attention, by not even having to be given the platforms to openly campaign and such. So now, if you have people who portray themselves as now standing up for the struggle, for now standing up for fighting against corruption. Now, instead of fighting against the corruption, they are fighting the people who we are looking up to help us in changing this regime, in changing this government. And now, when you come and attack that, you know that you are a person who's respected by people, and people look up to you. So now, the moment that you discredit the opposition that we are seeing as the agents of changes to us, it now gives us a platform where we are now wondering if we are still together in this, or if maybe some people are now being used by the government to sway us from what we are supposed to be concentrating on. Because I think right now we are at a space where everyone is supposed to be united. If we are going to fight for democracy, if we are going to fight for change, we need to be united on all fronts. So I now wonder why the attack is just coming at such a point where we need everyone to be hands-on, to encourage each other to go on this plight for regime change. And now people start attacking the opposition and seeing it in shambles. I think there's been some sort of an agenda to discredit the opposition. Yeah, that's what I think.
Thank you, Tinashe. Bringing in a very valuable point. It is an election year, it's election season. Things are getting way more heated, and you will see people playing many roles, some of them very duplicitous. So one of the things that I think we would always like to highlight is that truth, facts, is really important, evidence-based information. And let's stick to the facts, guys. Let's not let our emotions be swayed by very deliberate attempts at misinformation and misguiding the electorate. And that's something that is very prevalent here on social media. So I think we should be keeping an eye out for that, as Tinashe is saying, that it seems that there are coordinated attempts for people to be silenced. We still have a lot of requests, but I am not going to accept any more requests, unfortunately.
Peace after elections. Those elements in this country who are planning to create violence, I warn them, who will not tolerate any mischief, who will not tolerate all those who are bent in causing violence in our peaceful country. If they are being given money by whatever authority, nation or country or organization, ilamara wakanyarara, ipukute wakanyarara.
chichauri paridzewo ijournalism here vanhu tichidedhism chauri kuita akakuti dedhi wakuti zvinanga uri baba venyika yese iwe ungatadze handitaone marale triple C because hauide triple C yacho uri kuda kuiparadza kana saka rungoona ezanu ni ndosaka pato wakanotengesa information kuna vanhu vezanu kuti safe house kwanga kuine vanhu
it's all stage managed and we are challenging anybody
chibvire kumhepo ungatadze kuona marale triple C akazara masisi ukasabloka una triple C unoona marale triple C make use of your YouTube uone zvinoitika kutriple C chibvire kumhepoko iwe wega ndiwe journalist unogara wakangosungwa wega majournalist mangani dzaedza unonyora usi unenge wadzitsvaga futi tibvire kumhepo tetakanyarara zvinoda tanga takapusa sada da utonange takadzungaira nonsese chidetipidze ngoti baba munhu wese akuto zvonange ndiye baba wenyika yese nonsense.
But I am not going to accept any more requests, unfortunately.
Peace after elections. Those elements in this country who are planning to create violence, I warn them, who will not tolerate any mischief, who will not tolerate all those who are bent in causing violence in our peaceful country. If they are being given money by whatever authority, nation or country or organization, ilamara wakanyarara, ipukute wakanyarara.